Alright, I'm going to do just a quick update on the Monkey Lightning videos here for you so you can see some of the other things that have been added. Essentially today, I'm just going to take a quick look at the charts and how we've upgraded those. The charts will serve to function for when you're going to create a new trade. You'll see some new things here, but we'll go through those at another time. And you're getting ready to create your rules, and let's say you want to create a rule that has, maybe looks at the bottom Bollinger Band or looks at a moving average or something like that. All you do is drop this down and select chart data here. That's it. It works just like any other thing here that you would choose. And I'm going to show you what that looks like from a slightly different place, just because it's fully implemented here. The View Charts button right on your main screen. Let's just fire up a 15-minute chart. Select our market. And this is the improved market selection dialog where we'll have our eventually our spreads. It already does function for recent, and favorites is a good one. So you can go through here and select the market and then select a contract and then find the exact instrument that you want to trade. That's all fine. You could still do that, or go back one level or hit home to go all the way back. But just to make things easier, you can also have a favorites tab, and to add something to the favorites tab, you just find it. Let's look for let's say gas oil here, and let's say you find the contract that you're looking for. In this case it looks like a May 13. You just right click on that and add to favorites, and now gas oil be in your favorites also. So favorites is a real simple way to not have to, if you're using the same contracts over and over, you don't have to go back and go through the exchanges. Just go to your favorites, and in this case I'll pull up a Brent contract, 30-minute delayed, that I had on here. Okay, loaded pretty quickly. This is our 15-minute bar chart here. I'll make it a little bit bigger. And like I said, this is how the user will be choosing their, choosing any items that they want to build into rules. I mean, is the last price less than a bottom Bollinger Band? Is the last price greater than some other indicator? That type. You can just basically use it however you'd like. So let me show you a couple of things here that have been improved. All the stuff still works as before. Zoom in and out, reset the zoom, turn the grid on and off, and the bottom chart on and off. But you will see some new things down here. For one, we have this drop down. Everything is tool tipped, so you can see what's going on. The choose an indicator to display on the chart. So if I select bottom chart here for the indicators on the bottom chart, you'll see we have a wide range, 20 or so different indicators that you can choose, which is pretty good. So let's say that I select relative strength, and I see the relative strength pop up here underneath my main chart, and you can always click and see your cursor, that it's called, this line that goes all the way through, so you can kind of match up, like, oh, where's that point at here? Oh, good, it matches up here. And mouse over, of course, up here to see what the information is for each of these bars. And you'll see here that the a short description of the relative strength pops up here. Tells me that the relative strength index formula is a momentum oscillator that compares upward movements of the close price with downward movements, outputs values from 0 to 100. Value close to 100 indicates the price is about to move downward. A value close to 0 indicates the price is about to move upward. Okay, so that's cool that it just brings that up right away. And if this more button is enabled here for any of these indicators, so it'll do this for any indicator, it's going to give you at least a short description, and for most of the indicators this button that says more will be enabled, and I can click that, and I have to pull over so you can see, but it took me right to a web page that describes the relative strength indicator. So it's a real nice way to get to know these indicators, because there's a ton of them, and if you're like me, you don't know them all, and maybe haven't even heard of some of them. So in this way I can learn more about the indicator. Here it has the line style. You can just click through to change that, dash and dot, back to solid. And color, if you don't want blue, let's say we want a green for that indicator, I can just select it like that. Very simple. And also any inputs to the indicator. So in this case, there's only one input. It's period. And if I click on this, I'll see down here at the bottom, it tells me it's the period for calculating the relative strength index. Okay, that one doesn't tell me a lot, but it will tell you something for every input that's part of an indicator. So that's another nice thing it does for you. It tells you what those parameters are actually doing, at least to a small extent. And you can change this basically in real time. So I'm not hitting enter here or anything. I'm just updating this, and you see the changes reflected immediately. But I thought we could do one better than that. So if you're over any of these fields, which are the parameters to the indicator, and it's a number field like this one, period, you could just hold down the left mouse button. You see my cursor change to like a line with a left and right arrow. And now if I move to the right, I make it bigger. If I move to the left, I make it smaller. So I could see in real time what changing this parameter does, which is a really good way to learn about these parameters, and not to mention, a really good way to get the right fit for what you want in your rule that you're going to be creating. And when it comes time to select what you want to put in your rule, all you have to do is click on one of the series bars, and you see this pops up, choose bar data, and now it shows me everything at that position. So the close, the high, the low, the open, and we've added the relative strength index, so that's on there at 81.49, and the volume 239. You see it showing me I'm at current bar -6, which is about right, seeing where I clicked. But I can also just tweak through this. So you'll see I'm clicking this, and you'll see it changing the yellow highlighted bar here. Now I'm at current bar -10, but let's go ahead and go all the way over, and then of course you can do this to select the most current bar, and it actually says current bar up here. And so now we're at the current bar. It shows me what all these values are, and if you wanted, let's say, to look at the relative strength index at the current bar, you would just highlight that. Relative strength index shows up here, and you would hit OK. And that's how you would go through the process of selecting that to add it to your trade rule. Very simple. Couple more things to take a look at here. One is that these we looked at some of the bottom chart indicators. If we click main chart, we see a whole nother batch of indicators that function, about 10 or so, that function on the main chart. So one that I happen to like is the Keltner channel, so I'll select that, and you see that shows up there. Again, you can easily change the color of the line style by clicking on those. Now this one, we have a couple of things here. The MA period tells me down here length in bars of the moving average. If I click on ATR period, it tells me that it's the length in bars of the ATR to use in calculating the channel. So on. It tells you what each of these things are, so you're not just flying blind. Also has the description down here. And again, if I click more, I'll pull that back over, but you see it took me right to a web page describing Keltner channels. So those aren't pages I created, but I did some research and tried to find decent ones so you could learn about those. And again, we're going to go ahead and use, it'll be interesting here on the multiplier. Remember, if I hold down the left button and just slide this back and forth, I can actually update this just by moving the mouse back and forth. So you see I'm holding down the button, and that ATR multiplier is changing in real time. Make it real wide, cut it back down closer to 2, make it real narrow at 1.2, very narrow. So you can see how this would be effective. Same thing, let me change the ATR period. Look at how the the lines change just in real time there as I move that. I think people are going to have a lot of fun just exploring here with some of these indicators. Moving average period, same thing. See how I move that, make it higher, it rounds it out more, make it lower, and it starts to follow the data more. So again, just a real good way to be able to see what these indicators actually do, how some of the parameters affect them. And finally, one more I want to show you that is in the bottom chart indicators is the trend line. And it doesn't look like much here. I mean, it's just at first glance, just a red line. So what? What's that? Well, what this is doing is, you see here the again, we can click and it shows us down here what this is. So its start offset is the bars back from the current bar for the start of the trend line calculation. So it's going to start 15 bars back, and the end offset tells me it's the bars back from the current bar for the end of the trend calculation. So that's 0, meaning current bar. So it's going to go from 15 bars back to the current bar and give me a trend line, and that trend line then is going to display. If I change this, again, now I'm just going to hold down the left mouse button and pull that to the right a little bit, and you can see that change. And then down at the bottom you can see that it's showing me a slope in degrees in real time, which is very useful just for seeing. You can see how this line now at almost 80, 77 is really representing this uptrend that we see here. And in fact, if we pull this endpoint back a little bit by making it bigger, because remember that's bars back, it should go even higher, and it does. It goes up to 82.9. So that's a pretty massive upslope there, and pretty accurately represents what we see in the chart here. And you can just do this as much as you want, and you saw it flip there, because then the slope now became negative for going from a point over there to this point here. And I can bring this up a little bit, and again, the whole time the slope is just updating here in real time. And when you click on a bar on the chart, like we did before, it brings up our choose bar data box, and now you'll see there's other things in here because we've added more indicators. So for example, if you just wanted to use the Keltner channel lower band, you would just click that, and this is at the current bar minus 6. Most of the time you're probably either going to be on the current bar, I would imagine, or the previous bar, but there may be reasons for you to go back further. But you can see by hitting that easily get to the current bar. And my Keltner channel lower here, 104.65.44, so it actually shows you the value there. And then all I would do is click OK, and I would accept that as the value that's going to go into my rule. Very simple. And one last thing, trend line is always here then, and always displaying the up-to-date slope. So the latest we have here for trend line for where we have it set is about a negative 59. Let me go ahead and move this back to in fact, maybe I'll just type over this, move that back to 0, and I'll click and drag this back, because like I said, a lot of times you're going to be wanting to go from the current bar to, let's say, about 18 bars back, something like that. So here we are, current bar to 18 bars back, and that's a pretty hefty slope. So you see that again, we're seeing that uptrend here recently at about a 66 positive slope, and that's always in degrees. So it should be constant over anything you're looking at. You can always assume degrees. Everyone knows, what a 90-degree angle looks like, 45-degree angle looks like. So you can kind of get an idea of what kind of slope you're dealing with. So there's a lot more here in terms of just different indicators and everything else. But we can always go through those next time. I think I showed you this. Here's this changing the relative strength index in real time by going back and forth. It's just being able to slide the mouse like this definitely, I think, adds something to the ability to play around with these charts. So that's the update for you on Monkey Lightning, showing you the charts, and we'll get another video and roll through an entire trade here very soon. Thanks.